Hello, travelers. Boardman21 here, and today I am here with LizardIRL, and we're going to do a tier list for you, rating all of the uniques in the games. We'll do set items in a separate video, but in this video, we're going to do all the uniques. We're going to start with the helmets, then go body armor, then gloves, belt, boots. Then we'll get into the weapons, starting with one-handed swords and working all the way down to relics. We're going to rate them all from S game for end, or S tier for end game, S tier for leveling, or if they're just viable a little bit, or if they're just complete crap. So we're going to go ahead and get into it, and again, with me today is going to be LizardIRL.
Hello, I'm happy to be here. Another great educational collaboration,
Oh yeah. And we'll be rating these based on our experience in-game with them, how we felt they performed either in endgame or while leveling, or whether we couldn't find a use for them at all. We'll also tell you how hard they are to get. We'll go over the affixes. I will have a web page open so you can see the affixes of it while we discuss it. And then we'll just basically tell you how we feel about it and whether we'd like to see it, improved, or if it's just something that's just going to probably sit there and, we won't ever use it. All right, you ready for this, Lizard?
I am so ready.
All right, I'm going to let you start with it, and then I'll come back at you with some feedback and my view of it. So let's start with Calamity.
Well, Calamity is a early game item, but it's a very good one. It is, if you can drop this really early in the game, it comes with a lot of ignite chance, and ignite chance has really high base damage, which is really handy early on. Now, I don't think it's really good endgame. I've never used it endgame on a build. You can craft things that are just better, right? But if you drop this bad boy early game, which is really easy to do and is really common, and if you're using a fire skill, this will make your campaign basically like a cakewalk, right? So I think for me it's S leveling. It's a really good item, but it kind of like falls off in the end game. It's a level 7 item, so it makes sense, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Once again, this is a very common item. If you're leveling a character, even if it's not a mage, there's a high chance that if you've made it to endgame, you've had one drop for you, so that if you do switch to a mage, and you're in a soft core setting, or a setting that's not solo self-found, you can easily put it in your stash, go wear it on that character. It does, obviously require a fire skill to be used with it, so you're going to need Fireball, or you're going to be using something like a fire version of Elemental Nova. But you'll be able to apply so many ignites and do such good fire damage early game, it's just going to annihilate things. But it does fall off after the campaign towards end game, and I don't see a lot of end game builds with it, if any. I actually don't think I've ever seen somebody do it other than like maybe a meme ignite build.
Yeah, it kind of falls off a bit. Yeah, it's a cool item, and you can use it on very unexpected ways too. Things like Cinder Strike, things like that. Early game abilities. Suddenly you're just destroying. So it's a cool item. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and as a helm, what's also really cool about it, as Lizard just mentioned, is it's not class specific like most helms are that you've crafted, or even some unique. So you can mix and match with fire skills from different classes, not just the mage, which is kind of the go-to place for it because it has spell damage and man on it, but you can use it with, say, Cinder Strike or other fire skills on the different classes.
Yep.
All right. Snowblind.
Now, Snowblind is not a really good item, but I do like that it has one use. If you drop a Snowblind, especially if you're playing hardcore, SSF, whatever, and you drop a Snowblind just by chance, and you drop it with some good cold resistance, you can actually kind of like use it when you get to Wengaris, Act 8, which has a lot of cold damage, a lot of cold enemies. You might just like carry this bad boy around, and when you get to the cold area, you just wear it. And it basically makes that area, well, you're gonna be almost like cold dress capped with just this item and something else. And it's kind of like a guaranteed, it's a given, right? It also has like a higher level version with a bit more armor and so on. But overall, it's not, aside from that, it's honestly not a great item. It's nice that it comes with chill also early on if you don't have it, but most cold abilities have chill anyway. So for me, it's like a B. You can use it, it has some use, but other than what I've mentioned, I don't think you're ever gonna use this item.
Yep, I completely agree. If you have one of these, you can wear it starting at level 10. It's a great leveling item to get your cold resist right off the bat. if you're playing with an alt or something that has it, or you got lucky and had it as a drop. But other than that, it really doesn't have any uses. Even if you're playing a complete freeze type build and trying to build as much freeze multiplier and stuff, a crafted helm, especially with rare class specific affixes, is probably going to do you much better if you're building into that. And so for that, I agree. I would put it in B. I wouldn't put it quite into the crap pile because it does have some uses. So I would go with B with you on that.
Yeah, and the next item, the Kate Skull, for me, it's kind of like in the same picture, you know. You can drop it pretty early. It's pretty common also. If you're playing a build that has like increased void or necrotic damage, right? It's a nice boost of damage. Comes with some nice armor and the multiplicative armor. And you know the damage conversions can actually be pretty good, especially early on when maybe your resistances are a bit scuffed, right? And you don't have maybe your void and your necro resistance are not capped. You get this and you're kind of like making up for that. It's kind of like Snowblind, honestly. It's one of those items that if you don't have anything better while leveling, you might use it, but it's not something that you're actively gonna look for. This item also has a higher level version that comes with a higher based armor, but it's still not no it's not really worth your time. You can use it, you know. I found myself using this item when I find it just out of coincidence, but as soon as I get something better, I replace it. So I would say probably B. So it's one of those. What do you think?
It's one that I've actually never even put on. I've had so many of them drop. But usually when I level a new character, I'm either doing a solo self-found for a leveling guide so I don't wear uniques, or I'm already got a better crafted item that I can throw on. By level 24, you can get some good crafted items with, you know, affixes that you want, especially if you've got a lot of affixes to do crafting. And some of the modifiers on it, like only 20% of your void and necrotic damage being taken as physical, isn't quite enough for you to leave those resistances, you know, left alone, especially once you get up, you know, past level 24 and you're starting to get into those damage types. So you still have to, you know, put into those resistances. So overall, yeah, it's from B to crap for me, but I can go with B on it. I mean, I could see how you'd use it for a lot of armor early on to have that extra protection. But
yeah. For me, crap is items that I would just never use no matter what. And I have used this item before, so it's hard for me to give it a crap just because, you know, you drop this at level 24, like, and it comes with 80% increased void or necro damage. If you're doing void or necro damage, plus the armor, it's not a joke, you know, it's kind of nice. So it's one of those items that when you're level 30, 40, you're no longer using it, right? But it does have a use. Again, I think a lot of people need to understand this, that a lot of the items in Last Epoch, the unique items, it's not like in other games where uniques are meant to be, all of them are meant to be like for endgame or anything like that. In this game, you're going to have a lot of items that are just there to add flavor, to add uniqueness, and to, you know, get you exciting while leveling. And I think it's fine like that, you know, to have items that are exciting at level 20 and items that are exciting at level 100. And I think getting into that mindset to understand how items work, it's kind of like important. Because again, a lot of people think that all the uniques are kind of like this, but we will get to them. There's uniques in this game that are absolutely best in slot, but we're gonna get to those.
Yeah, it's definitely not all of them. So there's a lot of flavor, and we just got to find out where to place those.
Yeah.
All right, Arter's Legacy.
Ooh, this one is interesting, huh?
Oh,
I think
know.
this one might be the first one where we have a bit of a debate in the community. Now, if you're playing something like Wolves, you're playing Beastmaster, right? The +1 companion is really nice, but now that we have plus skills, plus Wolves goes on Helmet, right? So for me, Arthur's Legacy is no longer S plus endgame and is S leveling. Like the chill chance is really nice, the attack speed is really nice, the companion is really nice. You know, and technically, you know, if you have 5 wolves and then you get to 6 or whatever, or 4 to 5, whatever you're at, right? You're technically getting a big damage multiplier by having the extra companion. But I just think like losing the increased HP, losing the +2 skills, losing the good base, you can craft stuff that is better than Arthur's Legacy. Now, it is a really good item, and you can use this item until level like 80 till you get like the good stuff. But for me, it's S leveling. I don't know It doesn't quite reach endgame viable for me. But I know some people might disagree.
Yeah, you're about to talk to one.
Uh-huh.
So I agree. It's definitely S leveling. As soon as you can put it
Okay.
on at level 42, you're gonna want to put it on. You get that extra companion during the campaign. Super powerful. It is great for leveling, but it's also great for endgame. And while you may lose out on the wolves, you can also get other things that give you plus levels to wolves. You can wear the gloves that give your spell minions plus
Yeah.
2 levels. So there's other ways to get extra levels out of your wolves if you need it. But the damage boost that you get from having a 6th wolf or a 6th crow, especially since you can get multiplicative damage for having more crows for each crow that you have. It just
Mm-hmm.
outweighs what you can get. Now you do lose some defensive stuff. You know, you can't put
Mm-hmm.
increased and flat health, but honestly, I still think that it rivals even some of the better. Now, if you have a great exalted item, I would put an
Mm-hmm.
exalted item as best in slot. But I think that Arter's Legacy, and I have many builds with it that do great
Yeah.
in endgame and can perform well. So I think it could go in either slot. I mean, it's great as it's top tier for leveling and for endgame.
I mean, let's just say like because you can actually use it on endgame until you get something that is extremely good. If you compare it to something like Calamity, which is in the same tier, I would say we can probably call it an endgame S tier item. But it might not be S tier and also best in slot, right? You might be able to get something that is better. Whether I feel that there's gonna be some S plus endgame items that there's no way you can replace them, and those are gonna be your true GGs. But it's an honorable mention. It's a very specific build, right? And we can put it on S plus. I think it's fine, but keep in mind that you can get something better
Yeah, I almost
if
feel
you
like we
grind.
need one more tier in there that's for leveling and endgame hybrids, and it would fit
Uh huh.
perfect. But yeah,
Hmm.
we'll leave it on just the end game for now, just because I
Yeah,
mean
it's fine.
there's a lot of builds out there that utilize it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people mentioned in the previous tier list that we had too many tiers. So I guess we're keeping it a bit more generic for this one, just so you guys get a brief idea of what's good, what's not good, right? This is meant also for, people who are starting in the game and don't really know what the items do. So, there's gonna be quite power differences between the tiers, but you get an idea of it's an item that you want on your collection or not, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
and basically anything outside of the crap thing is something you should possibly try at one time.
yeah.
All right, the Ashen Crown.
Talking about S plus, huh? Well, this might be probably the best helmet in the game right now, right? I would say it's obviously specific for the Nova, Foes Nova Boy. I think you covered it on your channel. The best mage build we have at the moment. This item is absolute bonkers. Not only you get the Elemental Nova to cast on your cursor without having to put the points, so you can run the Lightning Nova. You get the conversion, the physical damage conversion, which makes if it synergizes like crazy with Priest Wraps and Orion's Eye, etc. You can get super tanky with this item. You also get the stun chance on top of it, of the shock and everything that you're going to be doing with Elemental Nova. This basically turns your mage Elemental Nova into an absolute powerhouse. It's super OP. It's actually pretty common also. It's low level. You can get it easy. You can gamble it easy. This has to be the best helmet in the game, in my opinion, uh, for that particular build. But it is an insane item.
Yeah, super powerful. And when mixed and matched with other uniques, such as the prison wraps, you can basically ignore some of your stats. So, for instance, this one, if you get a good roll on it, you can have up to 80% of all the physical damage you take as fire damage, which at that type of roll means you can basically ignore physical damage, especially since you can get reduced elemental damage taken on prison wraps and on flame ward, which together is why it makes it one of the tankiest builds in the game.
And on Orion's
And
Eye too, the
and then
15% of Orion's Eye. So
Orion's Eye, where you convert all the void damage you take into fire damage, and then you reduce the amount of fire damage you take by another multiplicative 15%. It's very powerful. It has great synergies with other uniques and other things in the game. And then, of course, that spell stun chance is OP with anything you do lightning, which is what you're going to be doing. You get that stun duration. And then the fact that you change a skill around from being able of it being cast around you to being targetable is a game changer. So, yeah, super
yeah.
powerful. Definitely S tier end game.
Hmm. bigger, yeah. You want this item on your collection, and you want to get that 80%, that juicy 80%, because obviously that when it's really clutch, right? If you don't have a good physical damage conversion, the item kind of like falls off because you can't rely on that tankiness. It's still really good, but make sure you that's the role you're looking at, the conversion.
Yeah, you
But yeah.
easily want 70% plus, but 80 is that like golden number.
Yep. I got 280s, not just one. So.
The Bone Clamor Barboot.
Oof. First of all, let's just appreciate how sexy this item looks. Stick item. I can't wait for it to have a 3D art. It used to be one of my favorite items back when word meta was a thing. If you max roll this item, I still think it's really good for some builds, especially builds that scale with both dexterity and intelligence, right? Things like Shatter Strike, for example, right? And especially if you want ward, it's nice that it comes with some res. But it's kind of like fall a bit out of, with the plus skills and all the crafted gear you can make. But I do think it's still a really good item, and I think for me it's an S. It would be one of those that is like leveling endgame kind of thing, where you can definitely use it. But I'm gonna put it at leveling, even though it's a level 65 item, and you say, well, leveling. But if you don't have anything better and at level 65 you drop this, you might use this. Anywhere from 65 to 90. And I think it's a really cool item. I really like it. It's not the best item in the game, but I still think it's really competitive. It's still a pretty cool item, especially if you're benefiting from all the stats. What do you think, Foreman?
Yeah, I'm drawn between A and S leveling.
Okay.
The thing that gets me the most is just the fact that you are, level 65 plus when you actually use it. But level 65 plus to level 90 is still a big leveling part of the game. You're still leveling skills up. You're still going into it. So we can put it in there. It's very powerful. It's hard to craft something better because it has some niche things on it that you can't get on crafting. And because it can give you a max rolled one that's giving you 13 dex and 13 int is very, very big. Because that's a lot of block chance. And that's also a lot of intelligence. So it's going to scale up the ward that you can retain. It's going to scale up the damage that you're doing if you're a mage character. The necrotic resist is nice. And then ward generation per second with a ton of armor. It's just a lot of survivability. So, I mean, it's really good. It's a great item if you don't have a helm, at the moment, to just put in there for leveling for sure.
And come on, it looks so good. Like...
Once it looks like that on the character, I'll enjoy it more.
It'll go up on tiers for sure. I'm an edgy boy.
All right, one of the next best ones.
Ooh, good item, huh? Pretty interesting way to get this item, Fracture Crown. For those who don't know, well, we're not gonna spoil it here, but this is, I think, the only item that you can get with crafting, right? Let's not spoil it for those who don't know. If you want to know, you can ask in the comments. Maybe someone tells you. But this item is really good, especially, anything that doesn't utilize ward and you don't need a plus skills. It's relatively easy to get, good base. And again, if you're going for the damage dealt to mana route, you can get really tanky with it. And the crit multi is just absurd. It is hard to get a good roll on this item because there's so many rolls you want to max roll. But it has to be an S plus end game viable. Really, really good item, and I would love to see more builds using it. Actually, like it's a pretty new item, right? Like the current version of it, and I don't think people have experimented too much with it yet. But it's definitely, everyone can see the potential of this item, so it has to be S plus.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. Unfortunately, it's been really hard to get or bugged in the way of getting it. It's even bugged right now to where a lot of people are getting like minerals on it. But once you get one and once it's good, there are a few builds that you can build around it. And whether you use it in an endgame build or not, it's still a good item for anything that's not ward. If you're not playing a low life spell damage build, it's great because it's going to give you a lot more tank ability, and then it's also going to give you massive more damage. And I've only put out one build that actually uses it, but it was absolutely just an annihilator, and that build unfortunately will see changes, and that's the static orb change. But static orb was proccing so many novas, and those novas with that 130% spell critical strike multiplier just did absolute bonkers damage. Like, where it was just, bonkers. And then you have so much mana because as a sorcerer you can get 1,000 mana without getting any exalted items. And because of that, having that much mana and then taking 50% of all incoming damage to that is very, very powerful. Especially if you're playing a leech build where you're instantly replenishing your life because you're dealing so much damage. It's a very, very powerful end game item. And leveling. I mean, you can't use it till level 72, but as soon as you get it, you're going to put it on and continue your leveling with it because it's that potent.
Yeah. It's just a great item. Really, really powerful. I wish you could use it on more classes than just mage, because that would be really cool. Since it's a gilded crown, I always think like, how cool would it be to use this like on a void knight or something, right? But again, it's a really cool item, and I really like how it has kind of like a legacy of it, because this item used to be in the game and it was really, really hard to get, and they kind of like keep the Easter egg of getting it while making it plausible, right? It's a really cool item. I hope the devs do more items like this, just because I think it's cool. It's like a cool story you can tell to new players. It's a really cool item, and it's a powerful one too. So really cool stuff.
You have Last Epoch tools open, right?
No.
Oh, I thought you did, because I was going to say it tells you exactly how to get it right on the tooltip. As you're talking, it's right on the screen, but anyways.
Oh, well, I guess... Oops. Guys, don't look at the screen. Just listen to us.
Alright, Call of the Tundra, the new Tundra.
Damn, this item, when I first saw the art of this item, I thought, what a sick item, man. It looks sick. Imagine this with a 3D art. It's just gonna be insane. But then I looked at the stats. I mean, the health regen is kind of okay, but I mean, you can literally get all of this kind of like on a crafted item anyway. You can get the health regen, you can get the health, like the... I think it's a pretty bad item, honestly. Like, I don't think it even has a place for leveling, and because you're getting it at what, at level like, what, 74? Yeah, there's no way you're wearing this. I have to give it, honestly, I think it might be a crap for me. It might be. Like, I legit don't see why I would use this item at any point in the game. And I really, it sucks to say it, right? Because it's an item that looks really cool, and I think it should be pretty powerful just because, you know, you gotta defeat Herald to get it and so on. But I like the concept of it. I just think it needs like 10 more stats or something really cool and really unique. Like, if it gave, for example, flat damage to Warcry, sorry, you know, like 40 flat damage to Warcry, so your Warcry actually fucking, you know, bursted enemies into pieces. Maybe it could be interesting because you could do like a spell Warcry kind of like playstyle. But as of now, a bit of health and health regen and plus 2 Warcry doesn't change anything. And you can convert the Warcry to cold anyway. So I don't really see the point on this item at the moment.
Yep, I completely agree. I throw it in the crap bundle. My reasons for it is because I have a couple of them. I thought they'd be cool. I tried them out on a build. There's no point of them. Like, there's nothing unique about it. It only getting +1 level to Warcry when you could get a tier 5 pretty easily and get +2 levels to Warcry. Like, why would I want to use a level 70? I mean, by level 74, you're already crafting endgame. You're going to get tier 5 of stuff. The ability to convert Warcry to cold can be done in the skill tree, but that's not the problem. The problem is the fact that you're going to waste a point on that node anyways, because all the good stuff is after that node. You know, the cold damage, the crit chance, all that free frostbite, it's all after that node. So you have to take it anyways. You can't bypass it like you can Lightning Blast when you convert, you know, Lightning Blast to cold, and you can use the rest of the tree. So that part sucks. As for the health, you can get that anyways. Health regen, you can get that anyways. Health. And the health gain on freeze is interesting, but I think we all know that freeze is one of the shittier mechanics in the game. You can't count on it, especially in high corruption or high health areas. So I mean, it is a crap item, unfortunately, until some changes are made. Which is
I think it would be really easy to make this item interesting, you know? Just imagine if it gave like something crazy, something like +6 to Warcry, and it adds half Warcry cooldown, so you can use it you can turn into a singer, you know, and just Warcry around and stuff. That would be pretty cool. And I get the art sick also. Like, I would love to wear this, you know. but the depths get on it, you know.
Yeah, if it gave Warcry something unique that's not cold,
Yeah.
you know, if it gave it the ability to be guaranteed stun in a larger area or an increased area, it's just
Yeah.
something unique that you can't get inside the skill tree that the
Yeah.
Helm would be like, oh shit, I need that, that's unique, that's a niche thing, that'd take my Warcry build over the top. It just doesn't have that. But yeah. Alright, that's the helmets. Let's get the
Yep.
body armors. We got the Falcon.
Hey, any speedrunners in the house, you know? Again, Falcon, pretty weak item, right? But again, you can drop it literally at level 1, and the movement speed and the dodge rating early on, actually pretty nice if you want to go fast. I think for it's really good for leveling. I don't think it's something you're gonna go out of your way to wear. It's not gonna be like a huge change, but I would say for it actually has a place in the game and you could use it. It's something that I get happy to see if I drop it. So I'm actually gonna give it an A. Again, you're not gonna use it for too many levels, but if you drop it on those levels, it feels nice. You're probably gonna drop this item at level 20, right? But if you have it, that movement speed, you know, to rush the campaign, level up the character fast, it's actually really nice, especially when you don't have good boots, you don't have good movement speed rings. I definitely get more happy to see a Falcon than to see a Snowblind, right? So I'm gonna give it an A, personally.
I agree. It's hard to place it in this because, you know, between A and B, you know, we need a leveling A and a leveling B. But
yeah,
in this tier list, because it's very good for the purpose that it serves, which is not endgame, it's, you know, from level 1 to 40, you know, maybe not quite 40, but about there, it's very great for speed running through. You get a massive amount of dodge, you get that haste. It's very impressive for speed running. It's great right off the bat. So if you have an alt character, you've had one drop on a character, you swap it over, put it on right away, and you're just off to the race. So yeah, for its purpose, I would give it an A. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doublet of Honest Tool.
Ooh, well, you've leveled with minions more than I've done. So what do you think?
Okay, so it used to be S tier. Then they came out with class-specific shards, and that changed the whole game. So while it's still very, very good, I cannot put it at a top end game leveling because you can craft things better than it. Now, it does come with a huge amount. If you're doing like a bleed version of Wraiths, which it's hard to do, but maybe a better example, I guess, would be Bleed Wolves on like the Beastmaster. It comes with a good chance for them to bleed, and it comes with a lot of duration for them. But what I have found is you're better off getting class-specific things that can do the same thing, not quite to that extent, but you can also get two prefixes that you need, or two suffixes that you need with it, which are way more powerful. It's great for leveling, so I will put it at S tier leveling for minion builds only.
Yeah. And one thing that is really important to mention with this item while leveling is that leveling, the best way to get tankier is to get health. When you are like level 6, right, you have like 200 health or less. Well, this item comes with 100 health, right? So this item can literally almost double your health, right? And that's really nice to just basically nothing's gonna have enough damage to kill you, right? At that stage of the game early on. So it makes the leveling process really comfortable. And again, like you're saying, if you're playing minions, like wolves, anything that bleeds, anything that has synergies with fist damage, you know, that the bleed duration and that chance to bleed, you know, it might actually double your damage for your minions. So for leveling, it's just really good, I think.
Yeah, very powerful.
It's a decent item. Leveling. Yeah.
Prison Wraps.
Ooh. Now, Prism Wraps is one of those items, huh? You get it really early, but you can still use it endgame. We mentioned that it has really good synergies with the Ashen Crown, Orion's Eye combo. It is. I have to give it S plus endgame, believe it or not, because when you play something like Elemental Nova, you do so much damage that you don't actually miss like the damage from crafting like class specific stuff. The leech is actually insane because you're critting so high, right, and you're doing elemental damage. And again, the less damage taken is just insane. You get so tanky with the sorcerers thanks to this if you're playing this specific build that we mentioned. So while it's very niche and you have to play it on a very specific way, Again, right now in the current meta, damage reduction is just king, right? It's just king. We're gonna see that a lot of the items that are on top are gonna be items that give you some sort of damage reduction. So again, it has to be S plus, and it's one of those crazy items. It's a level 5 item that you can rock at level 100. There's not many of these, but Priest Wrap, again, just proving how important damage reduction is. So S plus for me.
Yep, I agree. It's another one of those hybrid endgame leveling S tier items that we're going to throw into the endgame because there are builds that use it. By itself, it's not the most powerful thing, and that's why you can wear it at level 5, and it's not going to be, taking 30% less elemental damage and doing 30% more or increased elemental damage during the campaign and only having 30% more critical strike chance. That's nothing. That's really nothing. That's like tier 1 stats on the thing. But as you get into endgame and synergize that, yeah, it becomes super powerful. Once you've converted the damage you're taking, all of it, into elemental damage, and then you're getting a reduced amount on that, that's very, very potent. And then once you build in and get 100% crit, and now you're leeching a huge portion of all the damage you do, that's huge. While that doesn't affect you a whole lot like in the leveling process, yeah, it's just very, very potent. Definitely an item you want to get your hands on.
Yeah.
All right. Our crap Shroud of Obscurity. I mean,
also known as Sportsman Exsanguinous, right?
yes.
I think this item is crap. I think it's crap. Like, if you get it early, like, let's be honest, you're not gonna be running low life that early because you're not gonna have enough health and intelligence to sustain low life. It comes with bleed effect, even though at low life you're not gonna have that much bleed chance, so it's kind of meaningless. And by the time you might want to include something like this in your build and you want to run low life, you already you're gonna have access to the actual good low life items. So for me, it just has to be crap, honestly. Like, I don't see a reason to use this item ever. So crap for me.
Yeah, so this item, and I understand the reasoning for it. They wanted to, at the time that this item was created, there was a ward problem in the game where players had too much of it. And they also did not want to take away from Ensanguius, which is a player-created item. They did not want to nerf that item or compete with it to make it obsolete. But they also needed an item that was only for the Acolyte. And so the Acolyte, the Necromancer, and the Lich, which are very good bleed characters, have that bleed effect and stuff, which they thought would be a really potent thing to have. And 130% increased bleed effect on a bleed build is really powerful. But where it's messed up is they reduce the amount of the missing health that you have gained as ward per second, and then also throwing in the slot, it didn't give you any health, and that's a huge portion, and so you don't generate anywhere near enough life, and it just makes it to where you want Ensanguius. Like, Ensanguius not only will give you more ward for the same effect in the same gear slot, but it's also going to give you, the attack speed and cast speed on potion use. It's going to give you the being immune to bleeds, which is really potent at that. So it's really it just got overshadowed, and for that reason, yeah, I agree. It's a crap item. It needs one more effect on it that's different than Ensanguius, but makes it worth wearing as an Acolyte.
I think what they could do with this item is that there's other items that have stats that scale per level, and I think if this item had a, for example, percentage HP scale per level. Let's just say you get 0.5 maximum health per level, so at level 100 you have like 20% increased health, something like that. So they don't make it OP at level 13, but by level 100 is something like, hey, at least I got 20% health, which is better than a tier 5 increased health. That would make this item at least attractive and at least something that you would consider, just because it would actually be really nice HP. So again, I think this item is, it's really easy to make it attractive, and they have the technology to do things like this because they have it on other items. So we will see, again, like you said, when this item was introduced, the game was massively different on its mechanics. So I'm sure they're going to do passes of items. It happens all the time. There's items that have been in the game for like 2 years, and, they get revisited, things like, the Void Sword and stuff like that, right? It happens all the time, so I'm sure they're on it, I'm sure the devs know, so...
Oh, yeah. A lot of the earlier uniques that were before this have started to see rework, so as they... I think once after multiplayer releases even, and once they polish the game and do a lot more number balance, I think this one will see a change. The only other option is that Ensanguius would have to see a change for this one to become better, and I don't think that they'll go there, but... but we'll see.
Hmm.
All right, Yurzel's Pride.
Well, talking about old items, I remember when this item used to be the best chess piece in the game because it was the only way to get mana regen.
And they capped you.
It was interesting, huh? Unfortunately, that is no longer the case. Now, I do think the mana early on with the Lightning Rest and so on, it's level 15. You can get it when you go to fight Admiral Hurton, which does lightning damage and so on. It's not horrible, it comes with its own strength. But I think for me, it's kind of like on the Snowblind territory, where if you get it early, you might wear it, and after that, you just drop it, right? It's for me, it's a B item. You might use it while leveling a bit, but you're not actively looking for it, so it's alright. That's what I think.
Yep, I agree. It's not an item that fits all levels or all leveling builds. It's only going to be for some of them, and it's only going to be if you don't have something better already. But there are, niche cases where you will use it. You'll be like, oh, I don't have a couple, I only got 2 affixes on my chest. This has got strength, which is what I'm based around. This has got a lot of mana, a lot of armor, some lightning resist, which I need, and the mana regen's okay. So, you throw it on and you're like, I'll use it for a few levels. So there are cases where I can see it being used, but I don't see it being used on, say, Warpath builds anymore in endgame to sustain massive amounts of mana being used. That was before channeling changed to no mana
Rest in
regen
peace.
stuff, but yeah, lots of things like that. But it definitely dropped down a few tiers. It's another item that I fully expect will be it'll see some differences, I think, in the future, or at least I hope.
Honorable mention to Misha, who was is an old school player, and she always wear this armor, and it was really funny because she would have this like full tier 20 super good Sentinel gear back when no one even played Sentinel, and then you would see that she was rocking this item. So Misha, if you ever see this, we remember you.
All right, in Zanguius.
Now, Exsanguineous. It has to be S+, just because it allows the low life playstyle. And if you want to play low life, you're going to have to rock this, right? That is just how it is. Now, low life right now, I know you're a big fan, but it's not on its best state, right? Low life used to be really powerful, Ward was really powerful, but the new introduction of Endurance, like how Life Leech is so strong at the moment, I think, to be honest, the only build where it's actually worth going low life at the moment is maybe the Werebear, just because you actually get the benefit from Berserker and the benefit from, the whatever that node on Werebear is that gives you a lot of damage for missing health. But honestly, aside of that, other than the flavor of being low life, there is literally no reason to go low life in the game at the moment. Again, I think Ward just needs a buff, straight up. I think they could revert the ward retention nerfs that they used to do. I think the problem wasn't ward retention, it was ward generation, with idols, etc. That has been addressed over time, but the changes on ward never got reverted, while everything else got buffed. Now, it's still a really cool item, it's still amazing, it still enables the playstyle. It's really popular, especially for new players. It really allows a different playstyle, and I really hope they buff it. So even though I don't think it's an item that allows for a lot of power currently, because of the state of the balance, it is still an endgame item, just because low life would always be a thing in this game, even if right now it's the worst it's ever been, pretty much in terms of power, right?
Yeah, the coolest thing about this and why it's a good S tier endgame item is maybe not because it's not an S tier build enabling thing. It's not like you throw in Zanguius on your builds all of a sudden, S tier. It's that It is an item that's so powerful that it makes builds possible that were not possible before. If you're playing a low life marksman and you want to use shift to generate mana and you want to play low life and take advantage of the node that gives you basically, what is it, like 24% flat
base
crit? Yeah, base crit. So you basically guaranteed crit at low life. You throw in Zanguius on and Last Steps of the Living, and boom, you have a low life build. You just enabled 100% crit with no investment. You have reduced damage taken. Boom, a whole new build just opened up because of this item. And then the Werebear, as you mentioned, with the Berserker node, which reduces damage taken and gives you a more damage multiplier. again, is a very powerful thing. And there's other things in the game. You have like the Necromancer and Marrow Shards, which consumes health. You play a low life build, it's way better for it
And you
because
don't
you're
care
not
about
killing
it
yourself.
anymore.
Yeah, and it makes you immune to bleed, so you can take bleed effects that would place bleeds on yourself, like Transplant does, or Spirit Plague. It's very build enabling, even if they're not the meta builds, they're not the top builds. It makes a lot of builds possible. It's a very good item. If you don't have one, good luck finding one. They're kind of rare, but you'll eventually get one if you play enough. It's very sought after, and once you have one, it opens up a whole new, a whole lot of builds for you, a whole lot of variety. You're gonna want to try a lot of them.
Yeah, it's a really cool item. I really like the art style also. I really like that when you wear it, you can actually see that you can tell visually, okay, that's an exsanguineous character, right? It has a lot of personality, and I think items that add personality to the game, regardless of the power, they're just good, right? I think the fact that what you're saying, it allows a completely different way to play the game, regardless of the power, it's just good, and I hope we had more items like this. I always said that I would love to see a base in the game, right, just for crafted items that maybe came with, like 5% of current health loss per second or something like that. So you could get bases that actually synergize with Exsanguineous. So you could get like a total of like, instead of like just 20% of this and 15% of the boots, you could get up to like 120 if you combined all the pieces or something like that, right? I don't know. We'll see what they do. It's a classic item. I would say Last Epoch and Exsanguineous will always be a thing, right? It's just like signature item.
Yeah, it's been around since early days, and it's still, one of the top-notch ones. But yeah, very, very powerful. Urin's Wisdom?
Yeah, Urin's Wisdom. I like it for leveling. I mean, if I drop it, it's one of those like Falcon. Shit ton of health. The flat damage, if you're playing melee, is actually insane. 30 flat damage at that stage in the game. It's like an extra weapon. And it also comes with the leech if you lose health. So I actually wear this item sometimes when I'm leveling. I'm crazy enough to level something melee. So I actually like it. It's kind of like Falcon. It's something that if I see, I'm gonna be like, oh nice. Urins, and I'll wear it, and then when I get something better, I'll just drop it. But I do think it has a place. I think it's an A. It's usable for, those like early levels, and after that you probably just drop it. But the flat damage is really nice at that level. It's gonna be 30 flat damage is a lot of damage.
Yeah, I agree. I also placed it in A. It's for like a Spellblade type build leveling. Very powerful for leveling up. You add 30 melee cold damage onto a, whether it be Mana Strike, Shatter Strike, or Flame Reave, even though it's fire type, it's a big damage boost. So it's nice. And then when you do go low health, you are below 2/3 health, you get that massive amount of leech build back, which is really nice. And then also it comes with just a huge amount of health, which is really good for the campaign. So yeah, great for leveling. Not quite S tier, but I would definitely use it for a 20 level stretch. Between 27 and 50, I would throw it in there and use it.
Yeah.
Veil Root.
What is this item even? And it's a shame because it looks so cool, right? I've legit never used this item, honestly. I think it's crap. I don't know. I just think it's crap. I don't see a reason why to use it. And it's nice because it comes with health, it comes with mana. The spell physical damage is kind of okay. It's like, I don't know. Like, how you really gonna use this? I feel like you're better off using any item that you just find on the floor. I don't know. What do you think? It might be a B, but I don't know.
It's an item. I think it was specifically designed to be used with the Spriggan transformation. But usually I don't see any Spriggan builds that go out there using it, especially because chess pieces are so much more powerful with their their rare specific things. And this doesn't really have damage reflected. It's a joke. I mean, damage reflect in this game right now is not really a mechanic. It's just a number that sits there and you look at it, you go, oh, that sounds cool. It just
makes you lack more.
But you're like, oh, that doesn't do anything. Everything else, mana is kind of just a normal thing. Health's a normal thing. Spell physical damage, while it is nice to have it and it will boost your damage, usually when you play a Spriggan, you're not doing the Veil Blast, you're not doing the Veil Spirit, you're usually doing the roots, the root wall, the ice thorns, vines. So it's I just don't use it. I don't see anyone use it. I would really confer to Quiet for me. He might say that it's B or A. He might use it. He's the only guy I can think of that would use it. But for me, I would put it in the crap pile. I say it needs to be either buffed or get some different type of things going on to it to make it, at least viable for leveling. Because at level 35, you're already halfway through the campaign. You probably just got Spriggan. That's like the only time I could see you using it for like a little bit till you craft something, but yeah, it's crap.
I agree.
The Titan Heart.
Ooh, we got some interesting items coming up.
Oh yeah.
Titan Heart, again, really good item, right? Really good item. Comes with DR, with 200 weapons, right? The melee damage is kind of nice, and the big one, it's obviously the 40%, up to 40% increased health, which is basically like a tier 7 increased health. This is, if you have no gear, you just started and you drop this is basically the best chest piece you're probably gonna be able to have to get tanky early on. But after that, it's really easy to get something better, in my opinion. Just because you can get, vitality, increased health, like all of that. So it's one of those items that is really good until you get something better. So for me, it's gonna be an S leveling. It's really low level requirement. It's pretty easy to get because it drops pretty often. It's a common drop. You can't gamble for it, but it's you can see it pretty often. And I think it's a really good item, but I don't really see why you would use it on an end game build over just a tier 20 crafted chest. Honestly, it is a good item though, and but I just don't see it, especially with things like Wings of Argentus now and things like that. Like the more items we get in the game and the better the chest pieces are getting with Exalteds, because Exalteds got more powerful in the recent patches with the +2 skills. The more these items on the chest piece slot, on the relic slot, on the helmet slot. Well, now those uniques are competing with plus skills, Exalteds, class specific. So that immediately make those items be less attractive for endgame because you're missing on those really rare stats. So for me, it has to do it's an S leveling, but it might be one of the best ones.
Yeah, it's great for leveling, but yeah, I don't see any end game builds that use it. Most people can find something better. It does come with a massive amount of health, which is really cool. The damage reduction, again, very powerful, which is why we're going to put an S for leveling, because it can keep you alive with a two-handed build. But other than that, not really. A lot of the new uniques, they usually don't have a downside anymore, or at least not a very powerful one, and this one still has the do not regenerate health, which can be really... It can really change a build, because I think at times people don't realize how much they're regenerating or how much they use it, like, oh, I'm about to die, and they run away. Well, you're no longer leeching, so you need that health regen. And then you realize once you put this on, you're like, oh crap, I have to go hit them again before I can get any life back. Or I got to use a potion. So it can also be deadly, but it's great for leveling. So I would definitely put it in the S leveling.
I completely agree with you with the thing that you're doing. You mentioned with the regen. You never really realize how much regen is doing for you. But for example, when you're doing maps or whatever, and you have all of these enemies that have homing projectiles, and they don't hit by a lot. But you're getting hit by 20, 20, 20, and you're not regenerating anything. By the time you're getting to the next pack, you lost half your health, and you're like, where's my regen? Well, you don't have any anymore. So it definitely comes with that kind of like downside of having to basically, you have to constantly be attacking, otherwise your sustain is gonna suffer from it, right?
Yeah.
But again, really cool item. I really like the concept of it, and the increased HP is really nice. It's an item that feels good to wear when you find it. Your SSF, you have 1000 life, you wear this bad boy, boom, you have 1.4k. It's nice, right? That big jump on those early levels, but yeah, it comes with that downside, and again, it's competing with the really good stuff on the chest piece slot, so yeah.
Woven Flesh, which it's an S leveling already. Boom, done.
Yeah. Obviously, really easy to get. Just kill Abomination. Almost 90-something% drop chance. Really easy to get. Basically a guaranteed. Comes with some increased health, really nice. The leech is really nice. And the big boy is the crit avoidance. This is the item you're most likely gonna wear from level 50, right? Till you drop it 51, whatever it is. Till level like, I don't know, 70 or whatever, 80, when you get your crit avoidance sorted with the blessing or whatever, right? So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an item that at any point in a character you're gonna wear, and it's basically that's the current meta for leveling, right? You level, you get to monolith, you get woven flesh, you replace whatever chest piece you have, and then you rock woven flesh until you sword your crit avoidance. Everyone levels this way. It's the meta, and it's the meta because it's really good. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. S leveling is like quintessential for the current leveling process in Last Epoch, and I don't think anyone can disagree with it. Right? It's just cool.
Yeah, it's
And
once you get it, you put it on, you see that critical strike avoidance. You're like, oh, I need that. I take too much damage. Boom!
Yeah.
It lets you wear it until you sword that all out on your other gear. So it gives you a whole good transition, which is what the leveling process is, and yeah, that's where it goes.
yeah.
For modes, Cage.
Ooh. Are we including snapshotting or not snapshotting, Boardman?
Do we even include werebear in this thing anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll go with. I mean, snapshotting is a part of the game. We got to include it. So yes,
Is it?
snapshotting
Is it though?
For now, it's in there.
Yeah.
Don't expect
it's
this
not-
one to drop later.
Yeah, it's a cool item. It's pretty high level, 50%. But again, the mana cost early on, especially if you don't have your crit chance sorted on Werebear to get that mana back. Especially if you are playing regular Werebear and not Earthquake, right? Where you actually need the mana back. Comes with some flat damage. Comes with the white fur that for some swag points. I never understood why it comes with cast speed, but okay. And some really good stats overall. Some strength, some LRS, some code rest, right? You can snapshot it if you transform and benefit from the from the passive without losing and actually wearing a good chest piece. So it has to be like, I don't know, what do we give it? I mean, it's really specific, right? I don't know. For me, it's kind of like for leveling, it's okay. Now, I don't know. I'm between leveling and A. Probably but I don't know what you think. If we count snapshotting and you're playing Werebear, well, you're always gonna have it to snapshot, and then you're not gonna wear it. But I don't know. What do you think? Maybe S. We just put it on S leveling, kind of like to balance it out. But
I'm in the same spot. I'm stuck. I almost want to go down to A because there is only one
Yeah.
purpose for it. You're only going to wear this with the werebear. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you don't snapshot, or if you don't know what it is, which most people that come in the game don't know that it does that, and eventually it'll go away, so you won't even be able to do it. It's not something that I would want to wear. Maybe a little bit for leveling, just until I get my crit chance up a little bit, but at most that's going to be it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd put it at A.
Okay, we can go for A.
I can tell you this: I've never, out of all the werebears I've leveled, which is like 4 or 5 of them, druids up, I've never worn it. So it's not like, I wouldn't say it's S tier because it's not something I need it. It's sitting in the stash. I left it. Something crafted was better.
The white fur is nice. Let's be honest. Polar bear is nice.
Polar bear does look sexy.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how that looks on the new bear, the new transformation coming.
Big boy polar bear. Hell yeah, brother.
Oh, that.
It's gonna be nice.
I hope they introduce wind and the fur flaps and you just see it flexing.
Oh, my CPU is waiting for it.
The Dark Shroud of Cinders, once a legendary item.
Boy. Well, this item came with a bang, right? Came with flames. And the dev said, nope.
Yeah.
Basically, this item allows you to cast Fire Aura, right, when hit, and you can get void damage per Fire Aura. So what people were doing is people were making builds that hit a lot and crit a lot, right? Because you could get like Fire Aura and crit chance idols for mage, and you could basically get up to like 1,000 void damage, having like 50 auras on you, and you basically did mages that scaled the void damage with the blade of the Forgotten Knight that comes with a flat spell void damage.
Yeah, and it was even more than that at times, especially like Lightning Blast, which was capable of chaining. Before they nerfed it, you used to be able to chain to the same enemy. It did not have the number of chains, so you used to get twice as many as you have nowadays.
Yeah.
and each one of those would basically give you
Crit.
a fire aura on that crit. And I saw people that had 150 stacks of fire
Yeah.
aura, and you're talking 40,
2000 increased void damage and things like that. Yeah.
yeah, 2 to 4,000% increase. It was ridiculous.
It lasted one patch. Somehow it lasted less than Werber Earthquake. Somehow, but I think this item went from like a pretty, really good, even wonky but good S plus endgame item to basically a crap item. I think the way they targeted this mechanic with just adding the cooldown, it just completely break the game, right? Again, all of these unique items that have internal cooldowns immediately lose its value. Like we were talking about it with the bow mage build, right? That the reason that build works is because the icicles don't have a cooldown. If they added the cooldown on the icicles, the build is dead, right? So I think if they thought that was too powerful, I think the way to address this was maybe to just give it a cap, just make it so you can only get up to 20 stacks from this item or whatever. Just if they thought it was too crazy, but just limiting the cooldown like that, I think it was a really lazy way to balance it. Because they basically, instead of balancing it, they just removed the item from the game pretty much. And I really hope they revisit this, and because it was actually really cool and really unique, and people were like, "Wow, look at what people are doing! It was pretty smart, right?" Like, and I really hope they revisit this item and they don't go for this like internal cooldown way to balance the game, which I just think it's lazy, and it basically just takes the build out of the game and call it balance, when in reality it's just not even playable anymore.
Yeah, it came in with the bang, like you said, and then once they put that 1 second cooldown on it, it killed it. Not a lot of people played with it after that. I think it was also, I hate to like bring Wolfson into this, but we all saw how Wolfson released, and we learned a lesson from it. And I think this item was kind of one of those things where they implemented something, it was too powerful, they gave it a hard nerf, nobody used it. And I think that was their learning, and I think that's why Earthquake Weaver is still in the game. I think they saw the new Boulder's Wrath as a Dark Shroud of the Cinders and said, hey, we're not going to nerf that yet. We're going to figure out a way to still make it a good item for everything we want it to be good for, but somehow rule out the Werebear. I think this was like that learning curve on it.
Let's talk in a couple weeks and see what happened to that, huh?
Yeah,
we know it's changing. But we will get to that item soon enough. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if Boulder's Wrath changes, or we'll see if something inside the Werebear tree changes to where you can't proc it or something.
I mean, honestly, I've seen people push Boulder's Wrath without Werebear, and you can still push like 500 waves in hardcore. Like legit doing nothing. So again, I'm pretty sure something's gonna happen regardless, right? But we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We will.
Different video for that.
Yeah, the Wings of Argentus, which I'm just gonna throw into S tier endgame, and
yeah,
that's pretty much settles that.
I mean, easy to farm. I mean, a lot of people say, why do you mean it's easy to farm? It took me 20 attempts. Yeah, but you're gonna get it. It's a deterministic item. It might take you 1 attempt, it might take you 40, but you're gonna get it, right? There's items that you can never get no matter what, right? Like things like Orion's Eye, etc. Right? So you're gonna get it, and not only that, that when you drop it, it's gonna be good, because the only roll that matters, the only 2 rolls that matter, always max roll. There's no right, which is the haste and the less damage taken. You don't really care about the other stuff. Again, the dumb 40% DR is just absolutely bonkers. You put this on and you're the tankiest character in the game. If you can benefit from it because your movement skills, like basically anything Blade Dancer does, Warpath. I mean, you put this on and you're tankier than legit anything. Plus the haste, which is like super OP on its own. Yeah, I don't even know. There is no way this item doesn't get nerfed. I'm calling it.
I could see some of the numbers maybe being reduced a little bit on it, but I mean, even with it, the people that push it, I don't see them at the top of the ladder. It's a lot of other builds I see up there. So,
I haven't pushed it yet. I've tested, man. Like, I mean, you say that, but Blade Dancer is using it. People are using Blade Dancer with it because you no longer need Shadow Dagger's effect. People are using it with Blade Dancer. People are using it on Warpath, and I've seen people push Warpath to 500 waves physical, now. And imagine pushing Warpath to 500 before without this item. It's like you
Oh,
could
it was
barely make
impossible
300.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, but so crazy item. Like especially with the armor buffs and the armor while channeling, it just like skyrocket Warpath. It's like absolutely insane. We talked about Warpath on our tier list for skills. If you haven't seen that, you might wanna learn from there. But again, there's no way this item doesn't get the DR nerfed. Like the fact that you can get tankier on Warpath and on Vengeance, it just makes no sense in my opinion. Like I could see the damage reduction going. I could see them giving it a roll, like maybe like from 10 to 25 or something. So you actually have to drop a good one. But there's no way it stays at 40. Like I would bet a Coca-Cola on that.
I don't want to drink from a shoe, so I'm not going to take that bet. But if you're in the comments below, call him out on it.
Hey.
All right. We got the gloves. Keeper's gloves.
Ooh. Well, I'm excited about this item. Not this patch, but next patch. Because we know the bees are getting proper scaling. As of today, it's a really cool, funny item. You can use it while leveling, kind of like, the minions can actually do some stuff early on. They kind of tank for you and stuff. For me, it's like a B item, honestly. This might change next patch just because bees might actually be playable next patch. Especially now that we have like the rogue idols for bees and so on. Who knows? As of today, I don't really see a purpose. So I'm just going to give it a B.
Yeah, I'll place it in the same spot. If I have a pair on a soft core, I'll usually throw a pair on early on, just because if I'm playing a melee character, getting those bees, they do great damage early on. They'll take out trash mobs and stuff for you. It does die off pretty quick. After level 25, you're probably looking at something new. But it's a very, for a speed running build where you're wanting something where you might not necessarily have to kill everything, and you can let some your minions take care of it. Bees are a good way to do that on a non-minion build. So, yeah, I like them. I'll put them in B with you. Not quite crap, but yeah, like you said, next patch, hopefully they do get a big boost. Supposedly they're fixing the way that minion stats stack with the bees, so they count as a minion and actually scale, and should become quite a bit more potent.
Yep.
The Avarice.
I like these gloves, especially if I'm leveling with something that is elemental damage and I don't need Gambler's Fallacy. For those who don't know, this item you get on basically the second act of the game when you get to Council Chambers just by doing the quest of helping Urza. And if you choose to, retrieve his diary and give it to him, you will get these gloves. And if you help the Gambler, you will get a Gambler's Fallacy. Just because it's a guaranteed item that you can get while leveling. And it comes with some pretty nice stuff. The leech is nice, the leech rate is nice, the LRS is kind of nice. It comes with some mana. It's not quite as good as something like Gambler's Fallacy, right? Which is normally what people go for most builds for leveling. But I would still it's an A item. I think it's pretty damn nice. You can always count on it because it's a guaranteed, right? From a quest. It's a cool item. I like it. I think it's a solid item. Like, you're not gonna use it for too long, but it's okay. I wouldn't go as far as call it S tier leveling, even though it's gonna be used for leveling, but it's like a nice item.
Yep, I'll put it in A tier as well. It's if you're using an elemental skill, or know you're going to during the leveling process, whether it be Elemental Nova, Fireball, Glacier. If you're on another character, I'm trying to think of you have like Avalanche, which is cold, but it's kind of a little bit later. But if you have something that you know is going to be elemental, this is a good way to get a little elemental resist. You get a lot of leech rate, and then build in some leech as well. It's going to keep you alive. It's a very good pair of gloves early on in the game. From level 8, that's about the level 8, 9 is when you're going to get it and turn in that quest. And from that point, wearing it until level 30 or so when you get something better. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite S leveling. It's not going to take you all the way through the campaign. But it is a really nice early end, a very early game item.
Yep.
The Riverbend Grasp.
This item is pretty nice, especially since it's such low level 8. And again, there's a I'm thinking about the decoy way of leveling, with Gambler's Fallacy and this bad boy. Your decoy is just critting and one-shotting everything. You can legit clear the entire campaign with this. The damage, the health, the dodge rating is insane, right? It has to be a S leveling. It's such a good item for leveling. I personally really like it. And yeah, it's just like a really strong item straight up. You can even use this item for longer than leveling if you don't have anything better. Honestly, it's a really solid item. Um, I like it a lot.
Yep, it's great, especially like for the blade dancer or marksman. If you play a decoy running throwing attack, type build, very powerful. Lots of dodge, especially when you're a rogue. You're gonna max out your dodge very early on. You get the extra health. It's also great for a sentinel if you're playing hammer throw or shield throw. It's really good for those as well. But yeah, definitely an S leveling build. It's gonna take you all the way through the campaign for sure.
Yeah.
Fighting chance.
Fighting chances, it's kind of like, if I drop it, it's like it drops too high in my opinion for what it does. I don't know. I've used it before, but it's kind of like snowblind, like I might use it. For me, it's between B and crap, honestly. I'm probably gonna put it at B because I actually used it leveling, but it could be at crap, honestly. I mean, it's a cool item. Like the more damage take, like the increased damage taken is just a bit brutal. But if you drop one that has some nice rolls, with you roll 75, 5, 25, it's actually okay. But for me, it's gonna be a B. The health on kill is actually pretty nice depending on what build you're playing. If you're playing something like Leech, right, with Reaper form or whatever, like even if you're not doing melee damage, like Wandering Spirits just heals you to full and you can stay on Reaper forever and stuff like that. So it's all right, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, it's okay for a few levels during leveling. Eventually taking, between 5 and 10% increased damage can be kind of deadly for you, especially if you don't build your defenses right away. For the melee damage, that's a nice boost. It's quite a bit. It's a tier 5, tier 6, amount of melee damage increase. Pretty nice movement speed, obviously something you can't normally get on gloves. That's nice, especially early game to move a little quicker. The health gain on kill, I'm not a huge fan of that. I like the health gain on hit or even on melee hit. Since this is a melee pair of gloves. On kill is kind of like, well, they're dead. I don't need it anymore, but it's okay. But yeah, like you said, it drops kind of high for what it is. I think it should be like a level 5 requirement, because usually by level 20 to 25, you're probably done with it. So it's very quick. So I also put it in B. It is something that if I find it early in a campaign, I would throw it on for a few levels. So it's not complete crap, but it's not going to be something that lasts, even halfway through the campaign.
Yeah.
Boulder Fist.
Well, Boulder Fist on its own is not like the best item ever, right? But the fact that it allows you to not leech health, especially if you want to go for that melee, like a low life playstyle, well, that's really nice. Because I think the only way to negate your leech is either this or the amulet, the Shidaras, whatever it's called, right? And this is just a better way to do it. It comes with some nice health. The stun chance is actually, right now, stun is out of control. It's super OP. So just because you can use it with this kind of builds, I would say it's probably like an actual endgame item that you can use for if you are playing with low life. If you are not playing with low life, I think it's like an A item. But if you're playing with low life and you need to not leech to stay on low life, then it's an S+. Just because you need it, not because it's good. Kind of like a niche item, but you kind of like need it if you want to play melee, and you're playing druid or something. Like swipe comes with leech if you want to get the area, so you kind of have to go for this. So yeah, it's a weird item. But if it wasn't for the low life, for me it would be an A. If you count the low life, it's kind of like an S+, just because it's build enabling. But that's about it.
Yeah, I can put it up there in endgame for that. There's usually a way to get around it without wearing the amulet. Like you said, in swipe, if you want to go to the area side, you do have to go through the whole leech portion of it and dig into that, which means you'll have to wear the gloves. You could just go down south and ignore the whole leech in the area side, which kind of F's you with that area. You could try to get spirit wolves instead for a little area, but obviously if you're an acolyte, you're not going to need these because you're just going to take the conversion to damage. But any other class, if you're playing a low life build and you don't want to leech, which usually you typically don't want to, this is a great pair of gloves to put on there, especially during the campaign. If you don't have, if you've built into leech or something and you can't get rid of it for whatever reason, throw these on, not leech. Not a whole lot of end game builds are gonna have it. Maybe 1 or 2 unique ones are gonna, if they build a certain way, we'll have to use it. But yeah, we can put it up there. They are usable. They do give a huge amount of health. The melee's not bad if you are playing the werebear version of it. The melee stun duration and stun chance is pretty nice.
You will stun everything. Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it's only got maybe 1 or 2 build enables that are it's actually used on. But yeah. All right, Laraka's Claws.
Ooh, I really like this item. Not only because it's a good endgame item that does something really unique, right? The projectiles, especially if you're doing chakrams. The crit multi is absolutely crazy. The poison chance on throwing attack synergizes really well with shurikens. More damage per element stack. And not only that, but it's a good endurance base, which actually helps your tankiness without screwing you too much. I like this item. I think it looks cool. It's really unique on what you can do, and it really buffs your throwing attack damage. So for me, it has to be an S+. It's an actual good build. And I like it quite a bit.
Yep, I agree. It is definitely a S+ endgame pair of gloves that you would wear. I have a lot of builds that I've used with it. If you're doing a shuriken build on the Blade Dancer, you're going to wear them. I mean, you can't go without those extra projectiles. The poison chance on throwing attack, or even the critical strike multiplier if you're playing a hit version of it instead of a dot version. It's just a massive amount of damage. There's quite a few shuriken builds based around that, whether they do hit damage or dot damage, that will still wear those. So yeah, I went with S+ as well.
Yeah. And again, really high emphasis on the fact that they're engraved gauntlets. Because there's some gauntlets that are pretty cool, some items that are pretty cool in general, but then you look at the base and it's like, well, it's a base that gives me 30 armor, okay. But the fact that you get actually useful stats, because it's really nice. Because you gotta think, right, that when you're getting unique items in this game, you're also losing the potential stats that you get on a crafted item. And gloves are really good because you can get attack speed, cast speed, which is one of the only places you can get it. You can get hybrid health, you can get armor shred, you can get frailty. Gloves is a really, really, really special slot for stats in this game because you can get a lot of unique stats on them. So if you're gonna lose your glove slot for an item, it better be something good. There's slots that you don't really care, something like a unique ring. Who cares? What are you gonna wear? A silver ring? Okay, who cares, right? But gloves are really special, right? So yeah.
Yep. Wing guards.
Another really special item. I mean, just the fact that you can get haste alone makes it S+ in my opinion. Obviously, if you're doing dots and you're scaling attack speed to apply the dots, it's gonna be really, really, really nice. Again, good base with the endurance. It's nice that it comes with dodge. And again, the melee attack, the 40% attack speed is really, really insane. Again, this is only for dot builds, but it has to be an S+ endgame item. Really good. If you already have haste, and you can get attack speed somewhere else, you probably don't want to wear them. But there's many builds, for example, Beastmaster. That's basically your only way to get haste. I mean, you can get some haste on the passives, but realistically, it's the best way to get haste on that character, for example. And anything that does dots is just like amazing, A really good item.
Yeah, if you're doing a frostbite, shatter strike spellblade, really good. If you're using flurry and doing ignite or something, or bleed, yeah, it's really cool. Really increases that attack speed. It's a huge boost. And then of course haste is always nice. And if you're not doing hits for hit damage, then the loss on critical strikes, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Malin's Hubris.
Ooh, this one's interesting because it is definitely an S+ just because it allows you to do something that nothing else can. I don't. It's just there's not really a reason to do this, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, bleed, ignite, is there really a difference at the moment, right? They're both pretty crappy if you compare them to poison. So it's a good item. It does something really unique, right? And I'm gonna say S+ just because they allow you to do this very unique thing. If you know, if you're doing something like, I don't know, you want to do bleed hammers and you want to convert it to ignite, but then you're losing the bleed effect from the paladin passive. So I don't know, it's an item that is cool. You can do good stuff with it, and it's endgame viable because it allows you for that specific interaction that you might want for your build. Now, the build outcome that it might come from this item might not be something that you really want to do or really strong. But I mean, it is something like, again, just like Boulder Fist, right? Just like Exsanguineous. It's one of those items that even though they're not like super OP, you might need it for your build. So yeah.
Yep. I don't really have much to add to that. It has that unique thing where you take bleed chance, you convert it to ignite chance. You can't get that in many spots, so I'm perfectly fine putting it in S plus endgame, because if you're building around that, that is an endgame viable build, and they are required in order to do that. But outside of that, yeah, that's really all they're good for, in my opinion. But
yeah,
and most people don't usually play bleed or ignite builds at the moment, just because they don't really compete. So that's why you don't hear much about it. But if you do decide to like maximize a bleed to ignite build, or an ignite build in general, it's something you'll probably take a look at.
Yeah.
All right, Mortality's Grasp. I have no idea if I pronounced that right.
I mean, Mark of Death is kind of cool, but I mean, if you're playing a necrotic build, you probably can apply Mark of Death anyway with Bone Curse anyway. So I think this item is crap. There's no reason to use this item, straight up.
Yep. Also, the ward gained when damage leaves you at low life. I've never found, especially since it has a cooldown as well, I've never found that effect to be very strong in this game. There's a few different things you can get it, where maybe you get increased damage. I think I've seen before, ward gain is a big one. I swear there was a couple of other things you could get, a chance to create something, or something would happen if you get to low life and take a hit or something.
Yeah.
Sigils of Hope does something where if you take a big enough chunk of life hit,
it heals you.
It heals you. But I've never found those effects to be good, because typically when you go to low life like that and you're leeching right back up, you're getting hit again and you're going right back to it. So something with a cooldown typically is not very helpful. But yeah, I'm okay with putting them in the crap. I've never used them. Even with the amount of life that comes on them, never been even tempted to put them on.
Yep, I agree.
Alright, Raven's Rise.
Now, this item is good, I think. I really like that it comes with the Necro Res, and I really like that it comes with resistances. The minion movement speed and the damage while moving is actually really nice if you have minions that are moving around like wolves or whatever. This plus skills works to anything that is spell and it's actually not bugged. Like so wolves, crows, things like that, right? It's actually really, really nice. Really, really nice. And again, the fact that you can cap your necrotic resistance or your lightning resistance just from the primalist passives and a bone amulet or whatever, it's actually really nice also defensively. It's really comfortable. And it has to be an S+, right? It has to be an S+. It's a really good item overall, solid item. And if you're doing minions, you might wanna, and you're doing spell minions in particular, well, getting those plus skills can be really good, right? Can be really, really good. So that's gonna be it for me.
Yeah, it's really powerful with the lightning wolves, with the lightning crows, with the spell mages on the necromancer. It's got quite a few very powerful builds that it's used with at end game. It's definitely used as an end game item. You put it on, you're gonna wear it. If it maximizes your build, very good. Yep, I like it as well.
Yep.
Which leaves just a trophy.
Yeah, a trophy is just like, I don't know, time rot, I guess. I don't know. It's nice that you can get chance to slow and hit, right? Because chance to slow is really nice for kiting. But again, by the time you get this item, which is level 64, and you drop it from Riot, you already have better items like this. I've never used this in my life, and it's a shame because they might have the coolest art of all the gloves, but it's just crap. I hope they buff it, because it's a cool concept, but it just doesn't do enough.
I'm in the same boat. I've never actually worn it because you can get slow on hit in other spots. You're giving up too many affixes that you can craft for basically nothing. It is a lot of damage over time, which is nice. The time rot duration is pretty nice. Unfortunately, right now time rot is not stackable, but that is changing in the next patch. So maybe these will see a buff a little bit. They might be usable. We'll have to wait and see. What was the, you could get 8 stacks of time rot, or there was some weird number. It was
We
like,
will see what they do.
I
And
don't
I
remember.
know
It
they're
was,
changing a lot of things, right? Abyssal Decay, Time Rot, Abyssal Echoes, lots of changes for Void Knight Dispatch. We will see. I'm really interested. But as of today, Garbo.
yeah, it's crap today. So
Yep.
well, that'll finish off the gloves. We got belts. We got Viper Tail.
Oh, this item brings memories, lovely memories of Soulfist. It's still a crazy good item for leveling. This might be one of the best leveling items in my opinion. Level 6 comes with literally dodge rating, chance to slow and hit, crazy high, super high amount. Like again, you wear this with Wandering Spirits or anything that is doing dots, and you can legit clear the entire campaign with this level 6 item. You might actually want to wear it like till you get chance to slow on your weapon or your blessing. Absolutely insane item. Has to be S leveling. Probably the best leveling item in the game for me.
I also put it in S leveling. It used to be an S end game item, especially when synergized with Plague Staff. But then those kind of got roped in. But now it's still good for leveling. That poison on hit with the way that Wandering Spirits work, and they use that poison on hit chance, very, very powerful. You literally can throw it on and it just run through the campaign and just just leave everything in the dust. It synergizes with a lot of other uniques and crafted items as well, which makes it really, really powerful. Synergy is a big thing, and a lot of items, have these unique things that don't actually synergize, but they're a cool effect. This one synergized with a lot of it, so it's very, very good for leveling. You can use it with a lot of different things. I agree. I'll put it in S leveling.
You mentioned this, like for example, just there's so many uniques early on that come with a shit ton of dodge, right? For example, if you wear something like the Falcon, the River Brand's Grasps, the gloves that come with a lot of dodge also, and you get a Viper Tail. And again, if you have any dexterity on your class or you craft any flat dodge, you're legit gonna have like 50% dodge in the campaign at level 10, which is insane, right, for leveling. And not only that, but you're gonna go super fast thanks to Falcon. So yeah, that combo is like if you're leveling on softcore, how many of us do that? Every time we make a new character, we just drop these uniques and we just run for 20 levels with it, right? With some silver rings. So yeah, well, arboreal circuits actually, right? Normally, so.
Yeah, very, very, very powerful for leveling. All right, we got the Jungle Queen's Chaps of Holding.
Such a rare item for what it does. I mean, hey, you get a lot of potions, so hey, if you like potions, it's nice. It's kind of nice that you can get some minion damage, right? But honestly, and you might want to use it. I've seen people use it before. Like I've seen Bina use it with ballistas, but I don't know. I don't think it's that great, especially because you're gonna be missing out on your, on your like increased health and your hybrid health end game. It's really rare. It's like super hard to like get for whatever reason. So for me, it's probably like an A. If you have it, you might use it. It's kind of like okay because so many potions, you can kind of like AFK maps and so on. But let's be honest, no one's gonna really run this end game. So for me, it's like an A item. It's okay, it's cool, but that's about it.
I put it in B. We can move it up to A. The only reason I put it in B is one, I've got a couple of them, but I've never used them because they just by the time you get it, because it's so rare, it's way past the point of when it was like meant to be used. It's you're supposed to be able to use it at level 14. It's like a great alt item. So if you're running an alt and you've already had it on a character, that's how I could see it being A, because it is quite powerful early on. But it doesn't take very long before on a belt you can get much higher than 50% increased dodge rating on a potion use. You can get increased physical damage, or whatever damage you need. You can get high, once you can start putting health on it, that's powerful. So we can put it at A. It is like the Falcon. It's good if you have one already and you can use it early game. It's alright.
Yeah, I know Bina used it with when the ballistas drop a potion. When the ballista dies, so he was basically spamming ballistas, and he was like basically because he had 10 potions, he was converting all of that to ward, and he could get like insane amount of wards like doing that. So it was like a cool little interaction. But yeah, I agree with you. The item is not that. It has some niche uses. It might be cool for some builds for the moment, but yeah, I agree with you. it's like an okay item. You might use it, but
I
I definitely see it more used than a snowblind, right? But yeah, it's not something that you're gonna be crazy about. Yeah.
I don't think I still have the clip. I might have it saved somewhere, but I've done the same thing with ballistas. I left it on autocast,
Oh
and
yeah.
I went to bed, and I got up the next day,
Oh my
and
god.
my computer was at like 1 frame a second, and I was like, oh crap, all right, I guess it's time. And I walked, so it was just a red screen of potions, and I walked forward, and it summoned all of them, and my ward jumped. There was one tick, ward went from nothing to my ward jumped to about 500,000. And like you could tell the potions were still being picked up, and then the game crashed. It just froze for about a minute, and then it crashed.
Yep,
And
you can do that.
I was like, oh damn.
Has to be A for that. I mean,
Yeah, we could put it A for that. I mean, it only took
I mean,
8 hours of
you
sleep
know,
to get there.
Hey, hey, it's you're gonna be immortal for a couple seconds, you know.
Well, besides, then you get booted out anyway. But
Yeah.
the scavenger.
This item used to be exciting, right? The haste used to be kind of nice. The chance to find potions could be it can be nice early on, but I mean, having things like Viper Tail, are you really gonna use this? For me, it's like a B item, maybe leveling, maybe even crap. Honestly, what do you think?
If you don't have a Viper Tail or you don't have anything, you just happen to find this, maybe your first time playing, it'll be an alright item to throw on. Outside of that, it'd be crap. But because it's something that you like, I don't know. I just want to put it in crap because I would love to see it changed or boosted a little bit. Just because like there's other belts in that slot at that level that already perform like better. I mean, it's the same level requirement as the Jungle Queen that we just put in A. You know, like which one would
Jungle
you rather
Queen
wear?
Yeah, for sure, Jungle Queen. Yeah.
All right, the Chains of Eurus. Whatever.
Well, I mean, it's 60 necro res, you know, like I don't know. Obviously, if you're playing low life and you don't want to be healing, the fact that you can convert all your potions to, you know, like to ward can be useful. It's really niche, honestly. I don't really think this is used anymore, just because you can, you know, you could even craft, you know, ward converted to potion now and so on. So I don't know. It's probably like a B item, has a niche use, but that's about it. I don't think anyone really uses this anymore.
I would put it down there, but I mean, because of the niche use, I have a couple of builds that I've ran because you don't want to be healed by potions. That you can synergize the potions granting ward on top of potions granting more health, or getting ward on potion use, and you can get. I've gotten to a point where you can get 1,000 ward per potion that you use, and it's very powerful for ward builds. Is it a meta end game build? No, but I would compare it right now, kind of similar to the Hoobers of converting your bleed to ignite. It's a very niche thing that can really help a build, and if you wanted to build around it, you could.
I would say we can put it at A. You know, I mean, I just think that there's ways to do that that are better without losing your belt slot, right?
I
you
just
can even
think
do that with the new amulet, right? The Shitara's amulet or whatever, and I feel like that's better than losing your belt. But
I would wish that it came with a couple, like at least one other unique thing that would make it like, good for a build. Like focus it on something. Like get rid of the 24% reduced duration of stuns and maybe make you immune to stuns. And then holy shit, like okay, yeah, I might take that then.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah. All right, we got the Legacy of the Quiet Forest, and you got to be careful here because Quiet does watch these. I guarantee you, he'll hear this.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's aware that this item kind of like got outdated with all the changes, right? Because he basically made this item in order to be able to be on Springan forever, and then you kind of like. I mean, Springan is changing to begin with, so this item is probably gonna be completely like irrelevant. And it does have some use. It comes with some nice stats, right, with the armor and the reses and stuff. But again, it's not that great anymore. It used to be basically core if you basically needed it before, but now I don't think that's the case. So I would probably give it like an A. You know, it's an okay item if you have it. Just if you need the reses early on, it's not like super high level. It's only 50, right? And
it
can be nice when you're playing Spriggan. Yeah.
very nice when using Spriggan. It's actually it's one of only 2 ways to permanently stay in Spriggan form. Without getting out of it. And I kind of want to put it in S plus endgame because Spriggan builds do use it in endgame viable builds, whether it be vines or the roots. That mana back that you can't normally get. There's only 2 ways to do it, and it's one is through that build.
I rather just transform and wait the 10 seconds, a change map and get my cooldown back, honestly. But I mean, we can we can put it in there if you really feel like builds are really using it, but
I've seen Quiet push it a couple times. I want to say it was either Tunk, I think it was Tunk that pushed Spriggan, or it was somebody else that pushed Spriggan a couple of times, and they use it. The reason why you can stay in it and you can actually have your mana come back fast enough to have 100% uptime of roots and have the taunt and have the Ice Thorns proc, and you have a very powerful end game build.
Okay. So we can do that. I think it's really niche, but again, we put niche things on S endgame anyway, so let's do that. It's fine.
I would put it up there just to make him happy.
I'm okay with it. Just because the mana thing, it is true that it allows you to stay there, right? But
yeah. The Ward Trail.
I mean, this item used to get me exciting because of the the dodge meta with Ward, right, back in 7.7 and 7.6, and the movement speed was nice, right, before we had exalted movement speed boots and things like that. But now it's just crap, honestly. Like, I think it's just crap. This, especially for a level 60 item, this item needs like 3 more stats. This is an old, outdated item. There's no way you're wearing this at level 60, straight up.
Yep, I also put it in crap. It should be a level requirement of 1. I mean, this is a leveling item. At level 60, you're not going to put that on.
Yeah.
The Shattered Chains.
Interesting item, huh? I mean, the fact that it gives you stun immunity on potion and a lot of armor. I think if you play it with Forge Guard or with Leech, right? And you're using the nodes, that give you things on potion, either the damage reduction on potion or the chance to find potions on Forge Guard and all that, you can basically have perma stun immunity, kind of, right? So I actually think it's actually a pretty nice item. Now, would I wear this over, I don't know, like tier 7 increased health belt with tier 5 hybrid health? No, but it is a good item. So, I mean, if we put the Spriggan there on S+, I think we have to put this one too, just because the stun immunity is actually interesting. What do you think?
I was gonna put it on A, but I can go with S game. I think that this is one of those items that right now is like, it's okay. If you want to be stun immune, it's great. But there's really it doesn't do a whole lot for melee, because melee's kind of
you know what, I actually think let's put it A, honestly, because I've used it, and S+ is supposed to be endgame things that you actually need or want. So let's be honest, it's a good item, but yeah, I agree with you. Let's put it on A. You can use it, but it's not gonna be best in slot. And I think the stuff on S+ is actually things that you need 100%. And let's be honest, the stun immunity, it's really niche, right? And if you're playing Warpath, for example, you're gonna be stun immune all the time anyway, right? So who cares? Let's just put it A. It's too niche.
I think this belt could see maybe some popularity when Void Cleave comes out, and a rework of a lot of Void skills, because that added melee Void and increased melee Void damage.
Yeah, with the 400 effectiveness. Yeah,
it might be really good, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, last one, Strand of Souls.
What an interesting one, huh? This item used to be such a desired item, pretty hard to get. It can take you a lot of attempts in the Abomination to get. It's okay, right? But again, Ward and Kill you can get on your Amulet. Ward retention, I mean, Ward is just not really good anymore. And again, you're just missing on all the health and dodge on potion use stuff. I don't know. I think I'm gonna give it an A too. I think it's kind of like Shattered Chains. It's a good item. Now, do you need this on any build, or is it gonna be best in slot on any build? I don't think so, personally. I don't think so. It's a good item, but that's about it.
Yep, I agree. I put it in A. It can't be even considered a leveling item. You can't wear it till you're level 82. And then the main thing that it goes against, it gives you ward generation because you get the mana you spend as ward. You get ward gained on potion use. You gain ward per second, and ward on kill. But even with all of that, the amount of health that you gain with hybrid health and increased health on a belt at tier 5 or even if you get exalted is so much more that within Zangueus and Last Steps of the Living in a ward build, you're going to generate more through that health and then get 2 free damage prefixes on top of it than you would
or
wearing
dodge.
this belt. Yeah, or dodge, or a potion use dodge.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a decent belt, it's just like no color. Like my belt, like the belt I'm using right now, my characters gives me 600 HP.
Yeah.
Like why would I? Yeah, and especially since it's actually really hard to get this item. You actually have to farm this, or like it could take you 20 attempts at Abomination, right? So yeah.
Yep.
Not worth it. Yeah.
All right, we got some boots. We got the Morning Frost.
What a cool item, huh? Probably one of my favorite items right now. Obviously, I used it on the Bow Mage. I've been thinking a lot about doing a cold shield throw, since, it could be really, or hammer throw, right? Because it scales with dexterity hammer throw. And you actually get a lot of physical and cold resistance just from, Holy Aura and being a sentinel. I love this item, honestly. Like the fact that you can get, you get 100 dexterity, it's 100 flat damage for any ability that you're using. It's just really cool. It adds so much. You can basically make any build you want cold with this item, as long as you can offset the resistances. I think it's pretty well balanced because of that. And it's just a really cool item. And if you max roll the movement speed, like 29 movement speed on boots is not even that bad. Again, you do lose on the vitality and the hybrid health and some of the potentials, but the damage you get out of it, it's really nice. It's like, this is the item that defines Glass Cannon in Last Epoch. And just for that needs that S+. It allows like a completely different way to build your characters. And again, the one thing that I love about this item is you can make it as core of your build as you want. Since you could run it with 20 dexterity and not be so aggressive, or you could run it with 120 dexterity and be super, super aggressive on your resistances. Again, I love theory crafting around this. It's really fun to get your dexterity, get your resistance, and try to get that perfect balance of damage without losing your affixes and so on. Great item. I hope to see more of this. And yeah, it's just amazing. And again, really cool. You can do really cool things, for example, with something like Shatter Strike, because you double dip from the dexterity, right? You get the flat damage from the boots and from the skill. Oof, you can do. I know you have a Shatter Strike, with the shattered lance or whatever weapon that hits like a truck with this. So
yeah,
great item. I love it. S plus for sure.
Yeah, it's very, very, very powerful. I even tried building around Avalanche with it one time, just to get as much dex as possible. The only bad thing is, as a primalist, you can't really get into the dex, especially the shaman, very much. So it's hard to stack enough of it to make it worth it. But it can be. You can put it on just about anything that has, if it's got a cold tag, it's gonna synergize well. So yeah, very, very nice. Quite a few end game builds based around it. It is very lovely. All right, Stormtide.
Well, another good pair of boots. Just if you need shock, this used to be really, really good with Nova. I don't think they're as good anymore, just because you can get so much shock on other stuff now. And you're using so many uniques on Elemental Nova now that it's kind of like meh. But again, one really good thing that these boots have is that they're a level 24 item, and you can get 37 movement speed on these bad boys. And the flat 30% movement speed at level 24 is really good. So for me, this item has to be like an S leveling. You might use it on endgame too, but I don't know. I just think for leveling, like I wear it even on non-lining builds, just for the movement speed that you get. And yeah, you might want to use it on some endgame builds, but I think you can just get enough shock chance from the skills themselves or whatever, and the shock effect you can get from skills also. Like, I just think boots are so important now that losing them, it kind of sucks. But they're really good items. I don't know. I don't know if you agree with me, but it might be S plus. I don't know. I'm a bit.
No, it's really good. I would agree it's better for leveling than it is at endgame at this point. It is great for that
Yeah.
movement speed. You can get them early. The shock chance makes your lightning skills leveling up hit really, really hard.
Yeah.
It's also great, endgame if you're doing a static orb or lightning nova build. But after you put all the other uniques on, when you have the Ashen Crown, you have the chest, you
Yeah.
have Orion's Eye, you really usually like the boots to be able to cover some of the other affixes that you need, and these
Exactly.
ones just don't really fall in that endgame best in slot.
Yeah. I kind of like. They used to be best in slot before we had Ashen Crown, before we had all of these things that just changed the game, right? And again, you can only run so many uniques just because you need to cap your resistances, you need to cap your crit avoidance, and you need to get some health, right? So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right, Edera's Path.
I mean, sometimes I wear them. They're level 30, casting roots where you're running around. It's okay. I know that people like using them. That's because, it casts the roots without costing the mana. I don't know. I think they're kind of like niche. For me, it's like an A tier item. They're okay. You can use them, but I mean, if you want to use roots, just make sure that you can cast it properly and get your mana back somehow. Honestly, I don't know. Yeah.
I think they're I'll put them in A. I think they're a decent pair of boots. They are meant for like leveling. I don't use them in any end game builds, but just like the Stormtide, they come with a minimum 30% movement speed up to 33%. So you can be very, very fast with them. You have to be a little higher level to put them on at level 30 instead of 24, but they give you health. They give you a +1 to a skill that you might be using. They have a chance to proc it for free. They're going to give you healing effectiveness. They'll make your minions move faster. So as a primalist, I feel like they're a really powerful leveling pair of boots, but maybe not quite S tier. But they are good. They're definitely A at least.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
A for me.
The Transient Rest.
What do you have to say about them?
You look at them, you think they'll be good, and then you realize you're never going to use them in your life.
Yeah.
I think it's the cooldown. I understand that stutter stepping is like something they might be worried about. Like, oh, if you just keep stutter stepping, you're going to have too much ward. Well, if you also stutter step, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could see 2 seconds being a decent cooldown for like, you got to run for at least 2 seconds to get it.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of resistance, which is nice. The movement speed's nice, but for some reason,
level 52 though. You already have your resistance covered at level 52.
I think the main thing is, I think out of these stats, the main problem is that it came in the boot slot.
Yeah.
Because you're competing with Last Steps of the Living, because you're trying to run a ward build, and you're not going to wear these. You're going to wear Last Steps of the Living.
Yeah.
If you're trying to run ward.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem. So I'm going to put them in crap in hopes that they come back as like gloves or belts or something.
They're on crap for me too. I agree.
Sauron's Step.
I mean, the only reason this item is not crap is because Manifest Armor is a thing, okay? I mean, the fact that you can get like 300% effectiveness of your boots into your Manifest Armor, so this item can basically give you fucking, I don't know how bad, you get like 500 crit multi out of this bad boy, or 300 or something crazy. Yeah, interesting synergy there. The only reason they're gonna be on S plus is because they're actually core for Manifest Armor at the moment, and it's a pretty popular build somehow because players like Rook, I think, and Cujo, and these people who like to make wonky shit actually broke the game with these bad boys. So I honestly don't think that interaction is gonna last, because they made the Manifest Armor before boots like this existed. So I mean, at the moment this exists, and I have to give it S plus just because, I mean, let's be honest, it's a pretty crazy. I mean, you basically quant 5 times your damage on manifest armor with this item, right? Aside from that, absolute garbage.
Yep, I agree. It's a manifest armor unique, but it is an end game build. It is viable, and yeah, we'll put it up there. All right, the stymied fate, or stymied fate.
1 second, sorry. Of course, you know. What is this? This stymied fate. Those are the new Shade of Orbis boots.
Yep, all the cooldowns.
Now you look at the stats and you go like, wow, increased cooldown recovery for my movement speed skills, like my dash skills, my movement skills, and you go like, wow, this is pretty nice. Comes with Doom also. It's pretty nice. You can get haste on hit, so you get some movement speed. But then you go like, wait a minute though, but they don't have movement speed. Oh, hurts. Hurts my soul. There might be, if you're doing something like with Transplant and Reperform, and you're doing Doom with, I don't know, Parry the Pix thing with Wandering Spirits, with Hungering Souls, maybe they're kind of like okay. But honestly, not having that movement speed, like you're just running through maps, not hitting enemies, and you just feel like a turtle. It's kind of like it looks really good on paper. You play it, it feels like shit, right? I understand why they did it like this, right? Because it's like the trade-off of, oh, you're gonna be dashing a lot, but you're not fast, or you can be fast if you're in combat. But I don't know. It's just like you kind of like lose a lot out of it. So for me, they're probably like an A item. They do have some use. They do some cool stuff. But I don't really like them I don't really like how this item feels while wearing it, personally.
Yeah, I could put them A. I mean, I've worn them, I've tried them. Again, you know, not having that 30, you know, or 25% movement speed from a tier 5 affix on boots, that's a big, you know, movement speed loss. Yeah. The cooldown's really not that much, especially when you're adding that to the cooldown you probably took with the skill you already have. So it's only a matter of, you know, like with shift, it's like 0.2 seconds that you can shave off of it, which, you know, it can make a difference, but it's not like a crazy amount. It doesn't make Fury Leap suddenly become, you know, massively, you know, like sought after. You're not going to want to play Fury Leap with it. The Doom is nice. The damage over time increase is huge, which is really nice. The haste kind of offsets it if you're playing a hit build. But for the most part, yeah, I just don't see like any end game builds with it, and if they are, there's probably something else that's better in that slot that you can use instead. They're just doing kind of a meme thing with it, so I'd leave it at A.
Yeah, I agree.
Radiance.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I had to open the database and read what this item did, and then I remembered why I never read it before again. It has to be crap for me. I mean, boots and at level 61. What does this, I mean, the dodge rating, if you've been hit recently, I mean, if you're playing a dodge build, you probably don't want to be getting hit. And if you get hit, you'll probably die. And 300 dodge is not enough, honestly, to make it worth. And I don't even know if this like perma stacks or if it can only prop one time or not. I have no idea how this works. It just feels like, why would I wear this over like hybrid health boots with a Solarium, fire resistance, vitality, movement speed? You know, I don't know. To me, it's just like a crap item, honestly. I don't. If this dodge rating stacks, you know, if you've been hit recently, because it doesn't say it has like an internal cooldown. Maybe there's like a secret build there that I might be missing out, and I'm just being ignorant here.
No, I think it's like a lot of the other dodge rating things that refer to the last 4 seconds when you get hit. I'm pretty sure they do not stack. Like, they might stack with it from another source, but if you get hit multiple times, I don't think they all stack from that one source.
And if it doesn't stack, which, I mean, I'm just ignorant here. I've never really bothered to try it. There's just crap. And if they stack, I mean, let's be honest, I don't think it's going to do much for you regardless. So, because you're probably going to die in 2 hits if you're playing any build that uses that, like a Spellblade or something. So, yeah. Not that great.
Yeah, I would also put him in crap, and I don't know why I called him Radiance. I meant Rain Dance. Yep. But yeah, again, the dodge, while it is a bit of dodge for just a single affix, it's not something that I would want on my boots. The increased cold damage would be nice to synergize with some things that come on other boots, like Morning Frost, but you can't wear both of them. The plus to all attributes, I can't really think of any build in the game that actually benefits from all attributes, maybe 2 or 3 of them at most. So, you're talking maybe +6 in total effect. You can get
Yeah.
+8 if you just craft. The move speed you can get higher if you craft. It's just kind of crap, especially for level 61
Yeah.
plus when you're already end game and building your end game stuff. I wouldn't put them on.
Yeah.
However,
This item just, yeah, it just like feels like it's like a cool idea, but the game actually doesn't play like that, so they just kind of like fall off.
yeah. However, one pair of boots that I would put on endgame, we are at the last
Yep.
steps of the living.
Yeah.
And we can
Yeah.
just put that in S plus endgame, and we don't even
Yeah.
really have to discuss that.
I actually think this item is even better than Exsanguineous, right? Like the movement speed, even though you get shield, right? Which kind of like, kind of like, it's just one stack of shield, or it's not that bad, right? Well, sometimes it's two, depending on the duration or whatever.
If you have, well, since you're a player, you have a reduced effect of chill on you. But if you have a way to cleanse yourself, it's even more potent.
Yeah.
And there's only a couple ways to cleanse yourself, and it doesn't really work very well. Like, I think Smite can cleanse you of everything,
Yeah.
or Edder's Blessing can cleanse
Smite,
you.
Warcry, there's a few things. Yeah.
And they're usually things that either have a cooldown or cost a lot of mana, or you wouldn't be able to spam all the time. But the idea that you could even get rid of the chill on yourself is really cool and would, make it very useful. But the chill every 3 seconds might be too much, but still, the ward gain that you get off of it, it's so powerful, you're not going to say no to it.
Another honorable mention for this item, unlike Exsanguineous, you can actually target farm this. So if you are planning into building a low life character, you can actually target farm this on Formosus, regular Formosus, which is fairly easy content to do. And, it might take you like a few attempts. It might take you 10, 20 attempts, 5, depending on how lucky you are. But you're gonna, as long as you're playing the map, you will get it. Whether Exsanguineous is a complete random drop that you might play hours and hours and don't drop it, I know it's fairly common.
Yep.
But that's a pretty nice plus, I think. It's a really good ability. A really good item, sorry. And it's nice that it also comes in the base that actually fits the playstyle, since it comes with some word retention. That's kind of nice. I wish the word retention was more than 15, right? But yeah, it's a good item.
All right. The last pair of boots. Fiery Dragon Shoes.
Fiery Dragon, crap. They're really cool when you look at them. Wow, you can chance to cast Fire Throw when you're crit, but you don't really want to get crit. You could be use the less damage taken when crit on a 200 weapon and do some ignites. But at the same time, it comes with Fire Rest. But if you're doing that, you're probably playing Sentinel, and you probably already have a lot of Fire Rest. And if you're playing Sorcerer or something like that for ignites, you probably have a lot of Fire Rest anyway because you're a Sorc. So it's one of those items that they're really cool as a concept. It's just the execution. It's just crap. Like, I have to give them crap, honestly. Like, I think it's one of those items that could be really good if they just do some tweaks. But right now, I just don't see a reason why to use this.
I purposely put it in crap just because it has an affix on there where they're acting like you're gonna get crit. By the time you get to level 67 and you can even put these on, you either already have the Woven Flesh or you've already built into your Critical Strike Avoidance. So that affix is completely useless. You also have an affix that can cap your Fire Res, but then you also have an implicit for half your Fire Res. So you're overcapped even at bare minimum rules, which is like, I would have rather had something else. So it's got a couple of affixes that don't synergize well, that are either useless. So yeah, it's complete crap. As an endgame
For example,
item,
sorry, Birdman, I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, go ahead.
I was saying that imagine if instead of Fire Res, it came with critical strikes don't do extra damage to you, right?
That would be awesome. I would wear them.
Yeah, that would just make this item be like, oh, look, it's kind of like a poor man's crit avoidance, and you also get this cool effect, but you're also using all the movement speed and all the cool stuff and all the vitality and all the cool stuff you can get on boots, right?
Yeah.
So I think if they change that, this item would actually be really attractive to some builds. So.
Oh yeah.
And they have that mechanic in the game. They have less damage taken on crit. It exists on 200 weapons, so why not like add it on the boots that you're actually meant to be getting crit with, right?
Yeah. If it would have
So
that with the chance to take crits so that you can be crit but you're not taking extra damage in order
yeah,
to do the
exactly.
fire trail, it would be awesome. And then also one thing I wanted to just clarify, since we're speaking about crits, a lot of people have been confused, or I've seen this recently. Just because you have 100% critical strike avoidance does not mean that you avoid the critical strike. You still get hit. You just get hit like a normal hit. Just like if you're attacking an enemy and you don't do a crit because they have
Yeah.
critical strike avoidance, you do take a hit. Oh, I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, you dodged the whole hit, so why would two-handed weapons with 50% reduced damage be better?"
Basically, crit
You-
avoidance just turned yellow hits that are crits into white hits. So you don't,
Yes.
the crit multiplier is not applied, but you still take the regular damage. The same way crit avoidance on enemies works on your hits. You know, if you grab crit avoidance on a map, well, you're still gonna do damage. You're just not gonna do that much damage if you're basing your build on crit, right?
Yep.
But yeah,
Correct.
don't get it. Don't, that if you want to avoid all damage, that would be dodge. Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to be part one of the item uniques. We got the helmet, body armor, gloves, belt, and boots. They're all going to be broken up into tiers. That's going to be a full 2-hour video for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to do a part 2 where we have all of the weapons, and then we'll do jewelry, and then part 3 will be all the set items. Granted that they don't overlap. We might turn that into like 2 parts if it's too many. But for now, this is part 1. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And Lizard, you got anything to tell them as we sign off on this part 1?
I hope you enjoy all of this knowledge. Let us know which of these items that we mentioned is your favorite and why.
Yeah, we'll both comment back. Lizard will sit on the comments. You know, he's looking for those. And again, we're gonna clear this screen for you so that we don't do the same thing we did with the tier list. I saw a lot of you got distracted with too many items being in there. So we're just gonna end this on part 1, and I'll see you guys back here at part 2. Have a good one.
Bye bye.